Hi, I'm Chef AJ, the host of The Real Truth About Weight Loss Summit. So many of you wrote me and said that through the summit you understood what you were supposed to eat, but you didn't know how to make it delicious. So through the help of the Forks Over Knives annual meal plan, I'm going to show you 7 delicious, easy recipes. You know, during the summit, Forks Over Knives generously donated 4 annual meal plan subscriptions to a few of our lucky viewers. But everybody can have a 2-week trial for free just by signing up. And you know what's great about the Forks Over Knives meal plan, which I've actually had since they first released it, is that it's completely customizable. So if you can't do nuts or gluten or soy like me, you just check the box. There's a little bit of salt and a little bit of sugar in a few of the recipes, but if you're like me and don't eat sugar or salt, you can just omit it because it's very, very minimal. The recipes are easy to make. True, I went to culinary school, but they're so easy, even my husband can make them, and he does. And what's great is they give you everything you need to succeed. You get a grocery list, you get the weekend prep sheet, and you can either print your recipes out or use the QR code with your smartphone and see them on your phone. Most of the recipes serve 2, but you can change it so that if you want to make it for 1 or make it for 3 or 4, poof, it magically appears. It tells you exactly what to buy, what to do. It's basically foolproof. The only thing it doesn't do is put it in your mouth and eat it for you. So we're going to make some breakfast, lunches, dinners, salads. And I'm going to do one of my favorite recipes from their meal plan. These are called overnight oats, and they have a wide variety of them. I mean, there's literally hundreds of recipes that you get when you sign up for the annual meal plan, plus new recipes every week. What's great about overnight oats is that they have a really delicious toothsome quality and they don't even require cooking, so you could ostensibly make this on the road when you travel. I'm going to make the berry burst flavor, and so you could just use a glass jar like I'm doing, or you can use a bowl, whatever you like, but I like doing the jar because it's really pretty. This is a 4-cup mason jar, and then to that I'm going to add my gluten-free oats, because I'm gluten-free. If you're not, I suppose you could use any. And I'm getting it all over the counter, but you get the idea. Then I'm going to add my chia seeds and my cinnamon. And what would berry oats be without berries? Do this a little more carefully. These are just organic frozen berries, by the way. You could certainly use fresh, but this is what I had. And that's what I like, because they use easy to find, simple ingredients that you can get anywhere. And most of these you might even have already in your house. Okay. And then I'm going to add my unsweetened non-dairy milk. You can use any kind you want, whatever your preference. And then what you do is you seal up the jar. You could shake it up a little if you want, but it's gonna, there we go. Now what's going to happen is the chia seeds are going to thicken it, and it's going to be almost like a pudding. So you want to give it at least 4 hours in the refrigerator or overnight. You can make jars for the whole week in different flavors. For example, this one that I made, this is their carrot cake overnight oats, and it literally tastes like eating cake. It is so delicious. So next thing I'm going to show you how to make the strawberry bars. This is another quick, easy, delicious recipe that could be eaten for breakfast or dessert. So we're starting out with some ripe bananas, and if these look a little bit wet to you, that's because these have been frozen and defrosted because I just didn't have any fresh ones on hand. But using a potato masher, you could use a fork. I'm just going to mash them. I'll play a little tune. Da, 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 da. Nothing like, make sure that when you freeze bananas that you peel them first. That's one thing I've got to tell you. You won't be able to get the peel off. And also make sure they're ripe, because if you're not using any sweetener, which we're not, if your bananas aren't ripe, it won't be sweet. Then I'm going to add my gluten-free oats, my cinnamon, and my lemon zest. And I'm going to mix it up. Be like a nice thick batter. It smells so good. I'm going to be baking this at 350 degrees. My oven is preheating behind me. And I'm going to bake it in a 9 by 5 inch loaf pan. I'm using a silicone loaf pan because I don't have to grease it then. And anytime you use oil-free cooking or baking, which everything in Forks Over Knives is not only low fat but oil-free, you want to use silicone. Oops, that beep actually means the oven is preheated. So now I'm just going to pour this in my pan. If you don't have a silicone pan, you could use any loaf pan, but then you probably would want to line it with parchment paper so it doesn't stick. But it's such a good investment to have silicone bakeware, in my opinion. It comes in just about every shape and size. I'm just going to spread it out in the pan, and what's great is nothing will stick to it, and it's oven safe to 450 degrees. This recipe was created by my friend, an extraordinary chef, Darshana Thacker, who creates many of their recipes, and it's so easy. I kind of plop it on the counter like this just to get it even, and then we're going to top it with some strawberry fruit spread. I get the kind with no added sugar that's made just from fruit. I got this at Trader Joe's, but I have seen only fruit spread at just about every grocery store in the United States. You could make your own if you wanted. And then I'm just going to spread it evenly over the top. You could certainly use another flavor if you wanted. It doesn't have to be strawberry bars. You could make any flavor. Apricot would be good, blueberry. You could even put a little bit more on than the recipe calls for if you like extra jam on top. Very easy though, very easy. You don't have all that flour and sugar and yucky stuff in commercial baked goods. See how easy that was? Now I'm going to pop it in the oven. For 25 minutes. And I want to show you what it looks like when it's done. Isn't this beautiful? Now you want to make sure when you bring it out of the oven, you let it cool for at least 15 minutes before you cut it. I just want to show you how to make one of these beautiful strawberry fans to garnish yours. When I do that, I always take the prettiest strawberry I can find with the stem intact, and then I take a small paring knife and I make little tiny cuts, but I don't go all the way up. This is really easy to do, and it makes everything look beautiful. And then I take my hand and I kind of smush it like this. And then I've got a beautiful strawberry fan to garnish my delicious strawberry bars from the Forks Over Knives meal plan. Enjoy. I know you'll love this recipe. Next, I'm going to make one of my all-time favorite recipes from the Forks Over Knives meal plan. It is the sweet potato and wild rice salad. I love to have this not only as a side dish, but I bring it to potlucks and picnics. And usually when I eat it, it's more of like an entree size for myself, and I put it over a bed of greens, maybe some arugula or just some mixed greens. So we start with the wild rice, which I already cooked in my Instant Pot, and I let chill. I love wild rice. If you're gluten-free, it's actually a pseudo grain. I believe it's a grass, not a grain. It's very toothsome and very nutty. I love it. And then I'm going to add chopped apples. I like to use the Envy apples if you can get them, because they're just the envy of all apples. They're just the sweetest, crunchiest apple you can find. I've got some red onion, cooked sweet potatoes that have been chilled and cubed and peeled. Come on. I'm eating this so I can use my fingers. Very good. And then a very, very simple dressing that has only a few ingredients. It called for apple cider vinegar, stone ground mustard, and maple syrup. I don't use maple syrup, so I just substituted date paste, which you can certainly do. And there's a little bit of cayenne pepper and cinnamon. So I'm just going to put them in the bowl and mix it up with a fork. I don't really bother with a blender when it's such a small amount of ingredients. The stone ground mustard I'm using is made by Westbury, and it's salt-free and it's delicious. My little spices got caught on the bottom. There we go. Don't want to lose any of that flavor. And I'm just going to mix it up with the fork because I don't have a whisk. It actually said to whisk it, but I'm a chef without a whisk. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I'm not. This is very whisk-like. There, that'll be a lot easier. I was thinking of a metal whisk. And so I'm just going to mix this up. It smells so good. The colors are so beautiful. Anytime you put sweet potato in a dish, it makes it beautiful. This smells so good. Wow, love it. Just such delicious, bold flavors. Yummy, easy to make. There we go. Now I'm going to pour it over the top. And then I'm gonna gently fold it all in. Oh my goodness, OMG. This is so good. You will love this salad. The colors. I mean, I want to say that it's a perfect fall salad, but truthfully, I would eat this any time of year. But it would be especially beautiful in the fall. And imagine it over a bed of arugula. I say imagine it because I'm out of arugula right now and I can't put it over a bed of arugula, but it would just be even more beautiful. Let me get every last bit of dressing on there. There we go. And how about a serving for me? Why not? Look at that. You'll love this. So I'm going to show you one of my favorite quick and easy forks over knives recipe from their meal planner, because I eat rice all the time. I like all kinds of rice, especially brown texmati, but even the frozen organic rice that you just microwave. But I always have leftover rice, so this is really easy to make. It is the cilantro lime brown rice, and we're going to be serving it with the creamy broccoli curry. So you just have your leftover brown rice, or cook the brown rice yourself if you want. Some chopped cilantro. I suppose if you couldn't eat or didn't like cilantro, you could probably use parsley. Lime juice with onion powder and garlic powder. And again, simple, wholesome, healthy ingredients. And it just turns plain old brown rice into something special as a side dish, and tasty. You could go Asian inspired meals with this. You could go more Mexican inspired, but it really kind of gives new life to your leftover brown rice. And it's easy and it's delicious. Look how quick that was to make. Cilantro lime brown rice. Enjoy. Now I want to show you a really delicious and ingenious recipe by Chef Darshana Thacker. It is a beet cucumber salsa with some house-made tortilla chips. You know, chips are delicious, but they're full of fat and salt, and you know, they're just not that good for you, but you can make your own, and it's really easy. You just take corn tortillas, the kind that have nothing in them but corn, or maybe corn and trace of lime. I actually like to use a scissors, and I just cut it in half, and then in half again. And then you bake them. And I use my air fryer. I don't use the air fryer setting, but I use the oven, and they take, I don't know, not even 10 minutes to make. And when you're done, you get these crunchy, delicious chips without the fat, the salt, or the guilt. So how do you make the salsa? Well, we take beets. I just bought the pre-steamed beets at Trader Joe's. You can get them just about anywhere. I rinsed them so that it wouldn't make the whole dish red. Got my Persian cucumbers. Got some apple, and again, I'm using the Envy because that's what I like. I didn't have a shallot, but you can substitute things in the Forks Over Knives meal plan. I had red onion. That's pretty close to shallot. A shallot is actually a cross between onion and garlic, but this will be fine. It'll also make it look pretty. Cilantro. If you don't like it, omit it or use some Italian parsley. And lime juice. And mix it all together. Chef Darshana is so great with global flavors because she's, you know, not only is she from India, but she went to culinary school, and she just knows how to make your taste buds excited. And her food is always beautiful. Your company will love this if they even get to it, because I would want to eat the whole thing myself. And you know, if you don't want to make the chips or don't have chips, this would be a great salad. I just serve it over some greens, some raw salad greens. I like to always chill my salsa a little bit before serving it. And then I'm just going to put it in this little bowl, make it pretty. And again, if you feel that this dice is too big for you, you could always chop it finer. When I dice anything in a recipe, I try to make everything the same size. So if you like it big, you can have it big. If you like it small, you can make it small. And you know, you could probably even put a little avocado in this if you wanted. I bet that would be good in here. Make these recipes your own, and there you have it. Cucumber beet salsa with house-made guilt-free tortilla chips. Bon appetit. So now I'm going to show you the double pumpkin ice cream. This is so good. I'm not one of these people that only believes in eating pumpkin around Halloween or Thanksgiving, because you can get canned pumpkin puree with no added sugar any time of year. And it's so good for you. It's actually also good for your pets if you have dogs, if you want to make their constitution work really well. It's delicious and it's nutritious. So using my high-powered blender, I have 2 bananas that I've frozen. Make sure they're ripe before you freeze it. Make sure you peel them. I have what is the equivalent of 1 can of pumpkin puree. I think it's about 15 ounces, but I like to freeze mine in silicone ice cube trays, because otherwise the ice cream is going to be not as firm as I would like, and then I would probably have to take some time freezing it. I'm going to put in my date paste. I love making date paste. That's all I use is the fruit, the whole fruit, and nothing but the whole fruit, and that's what this recipe calls for. And at the Forks Over Knives meal plan, they give you lots of recipes for that include dates and for date paste. And now I'm using pumpkin pie spice. I'm using it from a wonderful company in Northern California called Local Spicery. Their spices are GMO free and non-irradiated and organic, and it's absolutely delicious. Now this recipe doesn't call for any liquid, but I know my blender and sometimes it won't go without at least a little liquid, so I'm putting a little bit of non-dairy milk in. I'm using this wonderful black sesame milk from 3 Trees because it doesn't have any bad stuff in it. Any non-dairy milk you use is great though. So I'm just going to process it or blend it in the blender. Wow, I love my Vitamix. You know why? How many blenders can you do this with? Look how thick it is. Oh, this looks amazing. And you could chill it if you wanted a little bit firmer. Oh my goodness. I think I deserve 3 scoops. This I have to taste with my little pink spoon. Oh, this is so good. You could serve it to regular people. Thanks, Forks Over Knives. So now I'm going to make our delicious Forks Over Knives entree, the creamy broccoli curry. So I'm going to do the sauce first. In my blender, I have some non-dairy milk. The recipe actually called for coconut milk, but I didn't have any and I don't live near a store anymore. So I'm using what I had, which is a delicious black sesame milk that's made by 3 Trees. There's no sugar in it. And I figured that they used coconut milk because they wanted more of an authentic flavor and maybe a little bit more fat. And there's plenty of that in this sesame milk. It's delicious. It is a little bit unusual color, but that's because it's made from black sesame seeds. And then I'm going to add the tomato paste, the curry powder, and the lemon juice. Well, maybe get a spoon for that. There we go. It called for a little bit of arrowroot powder. That's a thickener. I didn't have it. It's going to be fine without it. And now I'm going to go over to the stove and make the curry. So I've got a nonstick pan here. You can use the best cookware that you can afford. Some people like to use stainless steel. Some people like to use waterless cookware. So always get the best cookware that you can afford. So I'm just going to heat up the pan. Obviously, we don't need any oil to saute ever. We're just going to use a good pan, and then we'll have a little bit of water standing by if it were to stick. The way you know the pan's ready is you go like this with some water, and if nothing happens, it's not ready. When it's ready, the little balls will dance around. We'll show you that in just a second. And it's always a good idea when using the Forks Over Knives meal plan, or anytime you cook, is to do what's called your mise en place first. That's where you have everything ready and in its place so that you don't have to be grabbing and measuring. So for instance, I've already chopped my garlic. I've got this ready. I've minced my cilantro. I've got that ready. It called for a cooked potato. I've already done that and I've cubed it. And that's ready. And I've already steamed my broccoli. I do not like to chop onions. They make me cry, so I do buy them pre-chopped at Trader Joe's. Now it's ready, because if you get a little close up here, you can see when I drop the water, the balls just dance around. So now it's ready, and I'm going to put in my chopped onion. I like this pan. It's a wok pan because it can cook pretty evenly because it has a lot of surface area. So I kind of just let it sit there. I really don't do anything for a little bit, and it will brown. You can caramelize onions completely even without oil. Just need a good pan and some time. If it does stick, which it probably won't, I'll just add either water, or you can use no sodium or low sodium vegetable broth, a tablespoon at a time. I'm going to wait to add my garlic because I always think the garlic can burn if you add it too quickly. And when it's done, I'm going to pour the sauce over it, and I'm going to serve it with the delicious cauliflower brown rice. Excuse me, it's not cauliflower brown rice, it's cilantro brown rice, but cauliflower rice is also very good. You know, if you want, you can stir it around, but I usually wait just a little bit. I think onion adds flavor to just about every dish you make, and especially because I personally don't eat salt, I just can't imagine cooking anything without onion and garlic. If the dish needs salt, and I say needs salt because for me it never needs salt because I just don't eat salt. I was raised on a salt-free diet. But for others, they can add salt at the table, certainly. I like to use Benson's Table Tasty. The regular and the roasted garlic are my favorite because it really does taste salty. So, and you know, if you knew you were making this for dinner, you could have the onion already sauteed and browned and then just finish it off later too. I've actually never cooked with gas before my whole life. Everywhere I've lived, it was an electric oven, so this is my first experience cooking with gas. And it's starting to brown. I'll just leave it there. It's starting to smell really good. I'm using a white onion, but you could use a yellow onion or a red onion. I love using the Vidalia, the sweet onions. You can see that it's starting to brown. You get little brown pieces, and it's not sticking, but if you were worried, all you really have to do is just add just the smallest amount of water. Oh, and that makes it smell so good. Sauteed onions without oil are delicious with every vegetable that you can think of. On top of a bean burger, Forks Over Knives meal planner has some wonderful bean burger recipes and, believe it or not, beet burger. So you can see how nicely that's getting browned. And so now what I'm going to do is add my garlic. And I could keep going and get these completely caramelized if I wanted to. This is probably more garlic than the recipe calls for, but my feeling is if a little garlic is good, more is certainly better. The cilantro I'm going to add at the last minute because generally you don't cook with fresh herbs, you add them at the end. And if anything tries to stick, I just take a little bit of water on the pan so it won't. Okay, so now I'm going to add the rest of my vegetables. I've got my cubed russet potato, and I've got my steamed broccoli. It looks and smells delicious. Now realize that this recipe called for coconut milk, which is a beautiful bright white. I didn't have any, so I am using the black sesame milk, and that's why it's a different color. So I just want to heat this up. Oh gosh, it smells incredible. I'm not kidding. It smells like a delicious Indian curry from a restaurant. A little bit more sauce. You can always add the sauce. You can't take it away. Wow, does this smell good. So I'm just going to cook this until it's heated through. And you can see, like all the recipes on the Forks Over Knives meal plan, they're not really that complicated. Most people that are home cooks can do them. Just make sure that you read the recipe through and follow the directions. They give you the shopping list. Oh, it smells divine. Looks beautiful. I have a little bit extra sauce here that I'll serve on the side. I'm going to turn my heat off now. And I'm going to add some of the cilantro. Oh, wow. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And now I'm going to plate it up for you. I'm going to put some of the cilantro brown rice that we made earlier on the plate. And right next to it, oh boy, good stuff. I love broccoli, and I love potatoes, and I love curry. And then a little bit more to garnish the plate. And there you have it. We did 7 recipes, and I don't know how long it was, but I don't even think it was 30 minutes. You can eat for the week. So try the Forks Over Knives meal plan. It's absolutely delicious. It'll give you everything you need for your shopping list if you want the nutritional information. And if you're not convinced how delicious it is, do the free 2-week trial. What have you got to lose? So thanks, Forks Over Knives. Love your food.